Okay, we're gonna make this brief as these baseball quickies will be going. Just wanted to pull up and express a couple of fellas about baseball right quick with a couple of folks that may or may not be into that whole thing. So thank you for giving me a shot if you're watching this quick baseball shot. All right, now I'm gonna keep it 100, keep it 100, keep it 100 with y'all. So I know that the whole lick in the deal right now is to talk about everything that's going on in the world of MLB. I know it's spring training right now. I know we've had our first couple games. I know Bregman and Raffy Devers are arguing over third base, even though we know Raffy's going to end up playing third base. Let's keep it real. I know Nolan has now showed up in Cardinals camp down at Roger Dean Stadium, and they are making out just fine, despite everybody saying, oh, it's going to be awkward. No, it ain't. It's all good. Just like Ali Marble said, these are professionals. I know Juan Soto is showing up. He's doing his thing. Marcus Stroman is finally in camp. And despite not wanting to show up on day one, he looked like he's doing all right in this little inning. I know somebody got hit on the first day. Boom, right in the head is in concussion, whatever that's called, concussion protocol. I know the Dodgers lost pretty badly, but it's just spring training. I get it, but we got to see Yamamoto back in his thing. I know that the Yankees are now allowing beards. Oh, okay. Is that a thing now? Okay. What's going on? Now that Juan Soto's gone, you're going to let folks grow beards? All right, cool. I can't wait to see what Judge look like with a beard. And yes, there is plenty happening. I cannot wait to see whether or not in Angel Stadium they actually play You Say whenever You Say strike somebody out. But before I get into the season and everything that's going on with that, I saw something so dope yesterday that I just had to get this off my chest with my little baseball shots and tell everybody how I felt about the Andre Dawson Classic that happened yesterday. Now, I am a product of Florida A&M University. That is my alma mater. That is what I rep to the death. That's where I went. Tallahassee, holla at your boy. Yes, Patty Foot, summer first in the first summer, and then Gibbs Hall in the next year, then Palmetto South, and then off campus thereafter. Yeah, shout out to all of my other engineering majors that went to the FAMU FSU College of Engineering. But how dope is it to be able to see that because Andre Dawson did also attend the great College of Florida A&M, the university I should call it. When he went there, it was a college though. That they now have this thing called the Andre Dawson Classic, which consists of HBCU teams that compete against each other, with the exception of Mizzou, which is in the HBCU. It's not in the SWAC, it's in the SEC, but it's okay because Mizzou has a black manager right now that came from Southern University, which is an HBCU, so I ain't even tripping. But I just thought that this was dope, and then it just got me to thinking, man, this is the only real place that I have as a baseball fan who is black and wants to see other people that look like me in the baseball realm dominate on the field predominantly. And I mean just black people. Now I know there's Latino and I know black Dominican. I get it. Yeah, we see you out there, Big Poppy and others. But these are folks that check black on the application. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the school that they go to. It's a historically black college and university. Why is it historically black? It doesn't mean that white folks can't go, as I will show you in just a moment, because it's not exclusively black. It's historically black. And that's just because these are colleges that were developed in the 1800s when these same students that were enrolling back then were not allowed to go across the tracks to Florida State. Or we're not allowed to go to the Dukes or the Mizzous or even, dare I say, any of the, what they call Ivy Leagues schools. So, I mean, it was literally illegal. You could like black people were not allowed to go to University of Florida. It was a segregated school. We're in the segregated South. So these schools didn't pop up out of exclusion, but rather inclusion, because they wanted to give folks an opportunity who are being denied elsewhere. That's why they're considered historically black. Places like Florida A&M, Bethune-Cookman, Clark Atlanta, Spelman, all right, Morgan State, Prairie View. So it's dope to see this. And I'm starting to think like, man, maybe this is where we see the next Satchel Paige. Maybe this is where we meet the next Josh Gibson, but they're not getting that much publicity. But I got to say, they put on quite a show yesterday. It was so dope to sit here and watch Mizzou do the same things that they do in the major leagues. Okay, just as much excitement. And you know what I love about it? Like, you actually get excitement. Like, one thing that is so annoying about the MLB right now is how tight they are about you emoting. You know, like, it's cool if you get hit by a pitch after you celebrate when you hit a 98-mile-an-hour fastball that was coming at your face. Like, you can't celebrate without it feeling like you're showing the pitcher up. Bullshit. And that's how they get down in the Negro leagues, aka HBCU circuit. I'm gonna find myself starting to search for some more of these games because I enjoyed it. Unfortunately, in this particular instance, there were 2 teams that played yesterday. Excuse me, 4 teams that played yesterday. At first, it was Grambling versus oh snap. I think it was Grambling versus Missouri. No. Missouri played FAMU. So FAMU had so it was Grambling versus I'm gonna have to cut this in post because I forget who Grambling played, but Grambling played first. I don't even think I fully watched the whole game. But Grambling played first, and that game was dope. Even the home run was hit, if I'm not mistaken. And then Mizzou played FAMU, my team, and they unfortunately didn't have that much success. But I guess this is so important to me because I see what this leads to. Like, this actually means that at some point in time, we might find the next batch of baseball players come from an HBCU, which would be really dope for somebody like me. I'd like to see that. Right now, baseball statistically is showing only 6% of baseball players identify as Black in the major leagues. And so it would be so dope to see it kind of get back to the level it was when we were able to see an influx after the segregation was over with. And we saw folks leave the Negro leagues to come to the majors. And we saw the Satchel Paiges, the Larry Dobies. You know, we saw obviously Jackie was one of the first. Okay, he wasn't the first that was there. I mean, in the 1800s, the Reconstruction, the young man up in Boston was one of the first ones, but they did not like that in other cities. So I just think that this is an opportunity because had it not been for stuff like these events and for schools like FAMU, we would not have an Andre Dawson. Andre Dawson, who I believe is a Hall of Famer, 8-time Silver Slugger. This dude went to the All-Star game, I think 8 or 9 times. Okay. All-Star. But had it not been for FAMU, which was available to give him a shot, we might not have ever even met Andre Dawson. Like, he gives his story and depiction right here. Let's take a listen.
But I went to Florida A&M as a walk-on, and I went out, tried out for the team. I made the team as a freshman. I made the starting lineup as a freshman, and I was given a scholarship. And the rest was history. I played 3 years. I got drafted at the end of my junior year. And I would never trade that HBCU experience for anything because it put me in a situation where I was away from home for the very first time as a teenager. I grew a lot faster and knew what it was to be a young adult. But I went to Florida A&M as a walk-on, and I went out, tried out for the team. I made the team as a freshman. I made the starting lineup as a freshman, and I was given a scholarship. And the rest was history. I played 3 years. I got drafted at the end of my junior year. And I would never trade that HBCU experience for anything because it put me in a situation where I was away from home for the very first time as a teenager. I grew a lot faster and knew what it was to be a young adult. But I went to Florida A&M as a walk-on, and I went out, tried out for the team. I made the team as a freshman. I made the starting lineup as a freshman, and I was given a scholarship. And the rest was history. I played.
So if you hear what he's saying, he went to FAMU as a walk-on. He didn't go as a dude who was recruited as a baseball player. He had to earn his spot even at a school that already had a baseball team and he played baseball. And then he made it onto the starting lineup. And then he was drafted because his school gave him a shot. Had it not been in existence, who knows what would have happened. So we owe FAMU the debt of gratitude and HBCUs for giving this young man a chance. And then fast forward 8 Silver Slugger Awards later, 4, 8 Golden Gloves, 8 All-Star appearances, Home Run Derby champ, MVP, Hall of Famer, Rookie of the Year as well. How many more of these gems exist in this HBCU circuit that we're just overlooking because we're looking at the big name schools, or maybe even just the farm systems? Maybe that dynamic ball play of the Josh Gibsons, it exists right there at the HBCU campuses. So I don't know, man. I'm just feeling like maybe we should give that a second look, because it feels like the field is rich, ripe for the plucking, full of talent in that HBCU circuit. So I'm gonna go ahead and get back on here and get some of these spring training games, but definitely check out that HBCU circuit. This week, they even did one of those plays where the dude hid the ball in the second baseman's hand, and he went back and tagged him when he went off base, doing some tricky stuff. So loving it, loving it, loving it. I myself will pay more attention to the HBCU circuit. So yeah, if you're a fan of baseball, all I'm saying is don't count out the additional circuits. The HBCU circuit is just as good talent-wise as some of the other colleges that you may already be watching. So appreciate you. All right, I'm gonna catch you on the next tip. Deuce.